Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Triple H put on quite a spectacular show at SummerSlam last Saturday, with one wrestling veteran claiming that a goddamn beast had arrived in WWE. Jim Cornette also compared the superstar to Roman Reigns, who also returned that night. On a recent episode of the Jim Cornette Experience, the longtime wrestling personality discussed Bron Breakker's match against Sami Zayn. Breakker captured the Intercontinental Championship with ease, dominating Zayn in Cleveland. Cornette thought that the match wasn't great but did the job of putting over Breakker and not burying Zayn. He also called the second-generation star a goddamn beast who was booked to dominate, mentioning that Zayn had a 25-minute battle with Roman Reigns last year. They made the step to get Bron Breakker over by beating Sami Zayn, who went 25 minutes with Roman Reigns in about 7 minutes. That's smart, and it doesn't hurt Sami Zayn. He's already over. It was done well. There was a reason for it, and both guys did it perfectly. Bron Breakker gets over as a goddamn beast. It was back and forth. Sami using the speed and agility, and Bron Breakker being physical and maul him, Cornette said. 0-30 to 117, Bron Breakker bragged about his win last Monday on WWE Raw, while Sami Zayn will seemingly team up with Jey Uso this coming Friday on WWE SmackDown. Jim Cornette hates one of WWE's title belt designs. While Jim Cornette praised Triple H's booking of Bron Breakker and Sami Zayn at WWE SummerSlam, he made a little snide comment about the Intercontinental Championship's current design. Cornette is not a fan and even compared it to a wheels hubcap. The ugliest championship belt ever, that Intercontinental belt they're using right now. It's one color. It kind of looks like it doesn't stand out. It doesn't have prominent features. It's like a hubcap, a fancy hubcap, Cornette said. From 3:15 to 3:51 in the video above, the new design of the Intercontinental Champion was introduced in late 2019 when Shinsuke Nakamura held the title. It was Sami Zayn who presented it back then since he was serving as Nakamura's manager. At WWE SummerSlam, the crowd was electric, the atmosphere thick with anticipation. Fans worldwide were glued to their screens, eager to witness the epic showdowns and dramatic twists that only WWE could deliver. But nobody could have predicted the monumental decision that Triple H, the head of creative, was about to make, a decision that would change the landscape of WWE and create a new beast within the company. The night was already stacked with unforgettable matches. Roman Reigns had successfully defended his WWE Universal Championship in a brutal contest against Jey Uso, solidifying his status as the Tribal Chief. The Judgment Day faction had continued to dominate, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. But it was the main event that truly stole the show. As the final match was announced, the arena's lights dimmed, and an ominous silence fell over the crowd. Triple H's music hit, and the Game himself emerged, dressed in a sharp suit, with a look of determination on his face. The fans erupted in cheers, knowing that whenever Triple H made an appearance, something significant was about to happen. Triple H grabbed a microphone and stood in the center of the ring, his presence commanding respect. Tonight, he began, his voice booming through the arena, we witnessed the birth of something unprecedented. Tonight, we unleash a force unlike anything you've ever seen before. The crowd buzzed with excitement and curiosity. Who or what was Triple H referring to? The questions hung in the air like a thick fog as the tension built. Without further ado, the lights flickered, and the arena was bathed in red and gold hues. A new theme song, intense and adrenaline pumping, blared through the speakers. And then, emerging from the shadows, was a man the WWE Universe knew all too well, but he seemed different, more intense, more powerful, more terrifying. It was Bron Breakker, but not the Bron Breakker of old. He had undergone a transformation, physically and mentally. His once fiery demeanor had been replaced by an icy, focused stare. His physique, already impressive, seemed more chiseled, more monstrous. He walked to the ring with a confidence that bordered on arrogance, as if he knew he was about to change the course of WWE history. Triple H watched from the corner of the ring, a proud yet calculated expression on his face. He had orchestrated this transformation, molded Bron Breakker into the perfect weapon, a goddamn beast, as one veteran would later describe him. The bell rang, signaling the start of the match. Breakker's opponent was none other than Bobby Lashley, a seasoned veteran and former WWE champion known for his incredible strength and MMA background. On paper, this was a battle of titans, a clash of two of the most physically dominant athletes in WWE. But as the match unfolded, it became clear that this was no ordinary contest. Bron Breakker dominated from the outset, overpowering Lashley with ease. Every move he executed was precise, brutal, and devastating. Lashley, a man who had conquered countless opponents, seemed almost helpless against this new version of Breakker. The fans watched in awe, some cheering, others in stunned silence, as Breakker methodically dismantled one of WWE's most formidable competitors. The turning point came when Breakker delivered a thunderous spear, nearly cutting Lashley in half. The impact echoed through the arena, and Lashley writhed in pain, struggling to catch his breath. But Breakker wasn't done. He pulled Lashley to his feet, lifted him effortlessly onto his shoulders, and delivered a brutal powerslam, the force of which shook the ring. 1, 2, 3. The referee's hand hit the mat, and the match was over. Bron Breakker had won, but it wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. The crowd erupted in a mixture of shock and admiration. The Beast had arrived, and there was no denying his dominance. As Breakker stood in the ring, his hand raised in victory, comparisons to Roman Reigns began to circulate among fans and commentators alike. Like Reigns, Breakker had an aura of invincibility, a presence that demanded respect. But there was something different about him, something more primal, more dangerous. While Reigns had ascended to the top of WWE through cunning, strategy, and sheer willpower, Breakker's rise felt like the unleashing of a force of nature, raw and unstoppable. Backstage, WWE veterans watched the match with a mix of admiration and concern. One veteran, who had seen countless superstars rise and fall, shook his head in disbelief. "That kid," he muttered, "he's a goddamn beast." Triple H might have just created the next Roman Reigns, but with even more ferocity. The locker room better be ready. Triple H, still in the ring, looked at Breakker with a smirk. He knew what he had done. He had taken a talented, promising athlete and pushed him beyond his limits, turning him into a force that could rival the tribal chief himself. But this was no accident. Triple H had seen the potential in Breakker from day one, and he had carefully nurtured it, guiding him through the NXT ranks, honing his skills, and now unleashing him on the main roster. The WWE Universe was abuzz in the days following SummerSlam. Social media was flooded with reactions to Breakker's performance, with fans debating whether he was the next big thing or if he could even surpass Roman Reigns in terms of dominance and influence. Analysts compared his meteoric rise to Reigns' historic run, noting the similarities in their paths, but also the stark differences in their styles. Reigns, the cerebral assassin who had played the political game to perfection, versus Breakker, the beast who bulldozed his way through any obstacle in his path. It was a comparison that would dominate discussions for weeks to come. But for now, one thing was clear: WWE had a new star on its hands, one who had the potential to reshape the company in his image. And as the dust settled from SummerSlam, the question on everyone's mind was not if Bron Breakker would become the next face of WWE, but when. Triple H's gamble had paid off, and the birth of a new beast had begun.